We are going to talk with Wheel Addict man Ricardo Lino, who have been skating for around 35 years. Is it still fun for you as it was?
I would say it's even more fun. There was some periods that I might have not enjoyed it the same way because somehow your priorities somehow shift a little bit. But nowadays, I think I found what I want and what I will do for sure because it's when I have the most fun and I found ways to live from it. So I couldn't be happier to live from what I love the most and enjoy it. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite type of skating, style of skating now, after all these years?
I think I just don't have like a favorite type of skating because I consistently shift on what type of skates I'm skating more often. It's actually very hard. But what I really enjoy the most is really just to roll, just to be on wheels. Now, either being on quads, inline skates, whatever, freestyle or speed skates or aggressive skates. The thing that I've been struggling the most now, especially with being in quarantine, it's to not feel the wind in my face. That's the hardest part because what I always say is that what I love the most about skating is the feeling of rolling and feeling the wind in my face.
So, maybe downhill is most favorite in terms of wind.
Downhill, it's actually something that I love to. Yes, you get a lot of wind in your face, but I haven't been doing it that often since I moved to Portugal. I used to have a crew when I was living in South Africa that I used to do it every weekend, and that it's been over a year. Now it's a bit different over here. I skate most of the times by myself, so downhill it's also something that you don't want to do when you go alone. I haven't been doing it that much, but when I go aggressive skating, as an example, if I'm carving a pole like really fast, I still feel that wind, or if I just cruise, it's just the feeling of cruising on skates and feeling the wind. It doesn't need to be the strongest winds, otherwise I would be skating in a tornado, right?
What is skating culture was in the beginning of your career?
I'm from a very small town, which I'm living here now. I moved back to this small town. It's called Sines in Portugal. We have about 10,000 people living in this small town. But the skating culture is actually quite big in this little town. So we have like a very successful roller quads hockey team. And we used to have a very good speed skating team. Uh, they used to teach a lot of skating in kindergartens. So that's how I actually started. I started because there was also figure skating. So my sister wanted to start figure skating, and she's like 5 years older than me. And when she wanted to start figure skating, my parents had like some skates laying around. There were air skates, which she didn't skate that often. But when they bought her new skates for figure skating, I was 2.5 years old, and I ended up getting her old skates. And since then I was just going around the walls. And then there was like in kindergarten, like I told you, I used to have skating class lessons. When I was 5, I started speed skating. So there was always something skate related in my hometown. So I would say there was the skate culture was quite strong here. There was a lot of events. As an example, nowadays, you know that there's all those runs, people go running marathons and stuff. Back in the day, I remember that in my small town here, they used to do those runs, and at the same time, in the same day, they also used to do like a
Yeah,
roller skating race.
we had it
So
also.
yeah, so it was a strong thing, and I guess it still is. There's still like roller hockey happening. There's still figure skating. They're bringing back a speed skating team. I'm still here skating everything, so it's up to us to make our culture big or not, I think.
Okay, what about scooters now? Do they shift? Do people shift to scoot?
Not in Portugal, I would say like when I was in South Africa 6 years ago till 1 year ago, there was a lot more kids in scooters than I found kids in scooters in Portugal. I know that in some places in the world there's a lot of kids in scooters, but to tell you the truth, to be honest, I fully understand. I don't think there's a lot of people shifting. I think there's a lot more people starting on scooters. And the best example that I can give you, it's my daughter. My daughter, she's 2.5 years. She's about to turn 3 in a couple months. And she has roller skates, like quads, she has inline skates, but she prefers the scooter. And us, as parents, we also prefer when she goes on the scooter. It's the truth. And it's not because I don't love skating. I love skating and I really wish she could skate. But at the same time, every time she grabs the scooter, she can do it. So she feels more successful. And us, as parents, also feel good that she's doing something that she's enjoying it. So the truth is, inline skates or even roller skates, it's completely different from any other action sport. The only one that I would actually compare would be like maybe parkour. It's a completely symmetrical thing. There's no like pushing with one foot, or it's not like a bicycle that you have a lot of metal underneath. Even the scootering is completely asymmetrical, just with one leg pushing. On skates, it's both ways. You turn both ways, you
And
push
free.
both ways. It's completely free and very, very good for your body, for your development, like coordination, balance, even your body posture. Skating is actually an amazing tool for it. People are just not using it enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, but if you make mistakes when you're learning, it causes problems sometimes, because if you're not practicing landing right,
The right position, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But that's the same as walking, huh? When you're learning how to walk, if you don't learn it properly, if you don't use the right shoes, if you don't do things the proper way, you need to go to a therapist, to someone that is going to
yeah, fix it.
teach you how to walk right, how to get the right shoes. And that's what we should do more often. That's what me and you try to do with the internet. But people still need to go to shops. They still need instructors, like physical instructors that will correct what they're doing. It's just like any other motor action, like walking, running, swimming. You need to be corrected at what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing it wrong for the rest of your life. I used to have instructors in kindergarten because when we started, we had teachers. Then when I was 5, I started speed skating. I had a coach, a speed skating coach from 5 till 18. But maybe that was one of the reasons why I actually wanted to stop speed skating and getting more into aggressive skating. Because after having coaches for more than 12 years or 10 years, all I wanted is to actually doing it free. But having a coach in an early stage of my skating career was actually the best thing. Made me perfect, or at least get a way better technique at skating. And I see that a lot. I'm not trying to put myself here, but the truth is a lot of times I see aggressive skaters that the way they push, it is what it is. Like they focus more on the tricks, and sometimes the skating is not there. But in my opinion, and for what I do nowadays, skating properly, it's what gives me the most joy. So having a good instructor can actually make a difference for everyone. It doesn't matter what level. I can still see, like, imagine you see the best skater in the world and you'll still see something that it doesn't see, just because, man, he's in his own body. He's not watching it from an outside perspective.
Can you recommend first skates to learn some basics?
The two most important things for me as a first skate would be to go with a hard boot skate, because usually it's more supportive, and to go with something that it's light if you're very young. Okay, if you're very young, would be light and a hard boot skate because it's supportive. If you're a bit older, I would say maybe look for the base. You want to have the wheels longer than the front, than the heel and the toe, so you have a little bit more balance. Some people like it, some people hate it, but there's one shop worldwide that it's actually very important for the skating community, and that is Decathlon. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people also hate on Amazon, but if it wasn't for these two, skates wouldn't be available everywhere. And these guys, either Decathlon or Amazon, actually bring skates everywhere. So if these guys are bringing the right skates, that can make a huge difference, in my opinion. At the moment, I actually am trying to make a review on my channel for the most affordable Decathlon skates. They are okay-ish, but if it's your first pair of skates, getting a soft boot might not be your best. You might not be successful as easy, you know, because if you never skated before, you're gonna end up putting your feet all turned like on the inside edge or on the outside edge. The skates can help you a lot. Basically, that is it. I would say the most important thing as a beginner skate is hard boot. This is my opinion. Yes, comfort is important, but there is hard boot comfortable skates on the market. There's a lot.
What is biggest change in skates you've noticed from your young age? Maybe you're still young, but in terms of your experience of skating.
The biggest change was when I was 15. There is for sure, and that was going from roller skates, quads, to inline skates. But in inline skates, you obviously see that a lot of people actually complain about the things looking the same, but they're not. Like, let's start by the lowest part of the skate, the urethane. The urethane, first, there was a lot of skates that they had plastic wheels. I never had those, but still, there was a lot of skates with plastic wheels. Then they started calling it gel. It's not gel, it's polyurethane, PU. But even the PU, the polyurethane, the rubber, as some people call it, there's different kinds. And the formulas are getting better and better and better. If you want a good wheel, you should always look for super high rebound polyurethane. Some people call it SHRPU. If you look for these 5 letters, that means super high rebound polyurethane. And that means that the wheels are going to roll faster, last longer, and most of the times have better grip. Okay, grip doesn't mean that you can't slide. But anyway, this is one of the things that change the most, and it makes the biggest difference. There is a reason why they're doing the times that they're doing in a marathon. But then obviously there's different frames, different lengths, different numbers of wheels. I started with the 5-wheel skate. Nowadays I have some skates with 3 wheels, with 5 wheels. There was even some skates with 6 wheels. Let's be honest here, we will always go through trends. They both have advantages and disadvantages. Like having more wheels will give you more grip, having less wheels will give you less grip, but more maneuverability. But then you're also going to be higher. Higher means more instability of your feet. So you need to find something that you like. I would always say that the most important is to have a skate that goes a little bit in front of your foot, a little bit in the back of your heel. Like it needs to be a bit longer, a tiny bit longer, at least as a beginner skate. But obviously things change, and depending on what you want to do on skates, they will change. Like aggressive skates are completely different nowadays. We're using the same technology as speed skates. What I mean by that is using a carbon boot, or we're going back in some things like having a skate like the USDA, and that it's a one-piece construction coming out like almost 20 years after the UFS. For some people was just like, sorry the expression, like a mine. It is what it is. It's consistently going to be changing, and we're going to go through cycles. But in the end, there are some things that are key factors or key pieces of gear, and those will be like wheels, liners, and having a good solid. It doesn't need to be a hard boot in the long, like when you get like better at skating, but something that it's reliable, that you can put your feet the way you want, tight, whatever.
How many pairs of skates do you have now? Because watching videos.
Give me a second.
Like,
I don't know. Like, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know, man. I would say at the moment here in this house, I have like 27 pairs, but I have much more, because I have like at the shop in South Africa, not counting the skates that we sell, but I still left a lot of skates there. It's complicated.
Is it hard to switch between skates? Because it's completely different feelings.
Yes, but I love that. That's something that challenges me nowadays. I wouldn't tell anyone else to do it. It's me being honest. I wouldn't say do it because it's better. No, but for me, it's something that challenges me. Putting the skates on, okay, that's it. And I like that feeling of putting the skates on and having those first couple of minutes of readjusting my mind and my body to those skates, like feeling the balance. I like that. It's not good for developing or to get better at skating, but it's something for me. It's good because I do it. I want to enjoy it. I want to challenge myself in a way without actually putting myself in risk because of my family. So this is a way for me to challenge myself without putting myself in such risk. I wake up, I have my breakfast. Sometimes I have, sometimes I don't. But anyway, I come down, I started working. I work for a skating brand. I record skating videos. I try to skate as much as I can. But to be honest, even working with skating, there are some weeks that I skate like 2-3 times. Ideally, I would like to skate the 7 days, but sometimes I just can't. But I'm always with skating on my hands, skates on my hands, or drawing something, or this is what I do for a living. So somehow, yes, skating it's there every day.
Do
So
your
I would say
muscles
7 skate days.
do your muscles sore?
After the Berlin Marathon, because it was raining, and I haven't done like a marathon in the rain in probably 20 years, 25. So when I did the marathon this year, Berlin Marathon, it was raining, like completely raining, and I had the wrong wheels. Basically, I was skating with some scooter wheels that I was just testing, which are amazing for free skating, but they're super, super slippery. So skating 125 with the most slippery wheels, with a short wheelbase, the next day I couldn't move, like my legs, the ads, like the inner muscles on my legs, I couldn't. I could barely walk. But it depends. Like I wouldn't say it's the muscles, but if I'm gonna go aggressive skating, sometimes I'm testing a new pair of skates, I'm making a review or something, and I'm trying something that I used to do very often, but I'm not used to the skates. Again, that challenging factor. And sometimes to land that trick or to learn or relearn that trick, I fall a couple of times and it doesn't hurt that moment. And the next day I kind of feel it a bit. But again, I try to control that. Nowadays, it's not about going too big. It's about trying to be as controlled as possible.
Do you have some new products that motivate you skating more?
Yes, all the time. I'm a full skate nerd, completely. I've been wanting to be able to do like a rail ride, just rolling on a rail for a long time. But I used to do it on bikes, but on skates, because the wheels are so thin, it's very hard. So I was just playing around here, and I made those skates. There was like the roller balls, which is 2 wheels on the side of each other. So I thought like a wider base would be easier to roll. So stuff like that. But then, of course, there are things on the market that I actually love to test. With Micro, we are actually making a new frame that I'm excited, but I can't really talk too much about it. But as an example, the Wizard frame, when I first got it, I was very, very excited. The ground control HD frame or the solar frame, the aluminum frames, I was very, very excited to try them. So I'm just like a big kid. When there's a new product and you can barely sleep because you're going to get it the next day. I'm still like that. And that's what I love the most about skating. I might be close to 40 and I still, like, if I know I'm going to get something in the mail tomorrow, I barely sleep tonight. So it's still there.
Do you train in besides skating? Gym or yoga, other stuff?
I would love to do yoga. I was never ever into it, and I've studied sports science, and I've learned to be a Pilates teacher, but I could never ever got really into it. But right by my daughter's school, there's a gym, and I have like this agreement with the gym because I work with a couple of companies just doing consultant for their social media and marketing teams. It's just like, and I help them with that, and they help me with the gym. Basically, it's just like one of those trades. So I go to the gym. I don't go as often as I should, and this is something that I want to change in my life. But at the moment, I don't even know where to start. Like,
But it's important to visit gym.
it's the most important thing. It's the most important for me. As an example, I did a couple of things with my life to be able to skate. As an example, I was never like a big alcohol drinker, but there was a time that I used to drink more. But it's been 2 years that I don't touch one single drop of alcohol. It's been almost 1.5 years that I don't drink anything else. I don't drink sodas or anything. I just drink water. I don't drink any juices. I just drink water. I drink coffee, but that is it. I drink coffee and water. It's been 1.5 years. So I try to do some changes in my life to be able to keep doing this for a longer period of time. There are other things that I should be doing which I'm not as often as I want. I still do them, just not as often as I should.
Best country for skating.
I would say the place where you live, the places where you go, shape the skater you are, if this makes sense to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Since I came back to Portugal 1 year ago, I've been skating a lot more aggressive skates than I did in South Africa. And in South Africa, I had a shop inside a skate park. But still, I think I skate more aggressive here than I did there. Also, in South Africa, also the people that you skate with will also shape the skater you are. So in South Africa, one of my best friends, his name is Greg Fraser, he loves skating big wheels. And that was one of the ways for me to be with him. And I used to skate big wheels a lot more the whole time. We used to go through the city, and I still do it here. I do it alone. So it varies, but I would say like four big wheels. One of the best places that I've skated would be Cape Town because of how much time I spend skating the big wheels there. For aggressive skating, in Cape Town, there is a bowl that it's my favorite bowl. It's by the skate park where the shop is. And I've been in a lot of different places. I don't know. As a city in general, I love what I live. I do love what I live, but I do it alone most of the time. So it's again, man, I'm that guy that says it's hard the whole time, but for me, it's actually hard to choose the best place to skate.
The time you've started building skate parks, how many projects you finished, and what is the biggest one?
There was a time, it was after me skating as a professional skater for USD. I finished my graduation and I started working on a gym. I used to be a personal trainer for 7 years. After those 7 years, I just couldn't see a gym anymore. I didn't want to be stuck in that. I couldn't relate myself to a lot of the people that was going to the gym. It was a little bit different from my mentality. So I tried to shift from it, and my passion was still back then skating or action sports. So I started working for a skatepark company from Portugal. It's called Academia dos Patins, and we did a lot of parks everywhere. But there was a park that we did in Sevilla that was huge. It was like an indoor. We lived in Spain for like 3 or 4 months to finish it. It was actually a very, very cool park. But we did parks almost everywhere in Portugal. They are expanding, and I still work with this company nowadays doing something different. I try to never burn bridges with the companies that I work with because I think it's very important. You never know your future. So
What is the most important protective gear in skate park?
helmet in the skate park, in the streets, in the rink, which I still don't understand how some sports don't use it, like figure skating. They see it as, I don't know, maybe gymnastics because they also don't use it in gymnastics. But anyway, quads, roller skating, hockey, they also don't use a helmet, which is weird for me because in ice hockey, they use everything. Still, I still believe, and I know that sometimes I don't use it. Call me stupid, call me whatever. Sometimes it's just a commodity. I go somewhere, and if I need to leave something out, I sometimes leave the helmet. But if there's one protection that I find it fundamental for skating, as an example, my daughter doesn't touch the scooter or when she wants to try the skates on the carpet without the helmet. It's the most important because we never know.
Are modern quad skates better?
Yes, completely. Depends on it depends on the brands because some brands are actually doing the same model over and over and just um, adjusting the style and the looks of it, but still they will always be better because of something we said previously in this interview. The wheels are actually much better. So by having the wheels better, the skate is obviously a lot better. The bearings are usually better too nowadays. Most of the materials used for the boots are better now. Other than that, there's other companies that have a lot more access to technology. A good example of that would be Powerslide. Powerslide have all the access to technology from the inline skates, and they can actually use some of the technology they've been developing for years and years and years into a sport that it's new for some people. So Yes.
And can you recommend trying to inline skate as quad skates? What's differences? What's biggest differences? And
Biggest difference is the wheel base. So a good example, most of the people that would go from roller skates to inline skates would be successful, more easy than if you go from inline skates to quad skates, at least to adjust. Basically, because of what I said, it's important as a first skate. This is the size of your foot. This is where the wheels are on a roller skate. This is your foot. This is where the wheels are. A smaller wheelbase means a lot harder to keep your balance. On an inline skate, usually the most difficult thing would be to keep your feet on the right position. But if you have a good boot, if you have a hard, supportive boot, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. I wouldn't say one is better than other. In fact, I say a lot of times that the quad skates can actually be faster if you're going to be skating on a bowl, because the wheels are so much harder that if you do the push in the right time, that can be faster. But because of the shorter wheelbase in most of the skates, because you can also have longer wheelbase on quad skates, that can vary. But I would just say that it's not a lot harder. It's an extension of your body by having wheels. You just need to adjust to having the wheels in a different position. That is it.
but do you recommend to try it?
Yes, yes. To try it, yes. Now, to shift it completely, it depends on what you want to do. If you're doing it, like I say all the time, if you do it for the fun of it, if you have the possibility, if you have 3 pairs of skates, why are you going to buy the 4th pair of inline skates? If you can have something different that is going to challenge you, it's going to use different muscles of your body, it's going to probably put a bigger smile on your face than doing the same over and over and over. So why not?
Some people ask, what about big wheels on quad skates? Like
How big the wheels?
130 millimeters, 200 millimeters.
I've seen some skates like that. I've seen some skates. I never actually tried them. The thing is, when you do something like that, it needs to be very, very wide. Here's the thing. They need to be wider than your foot, otherwise you're going to be too tall. And when they're wider than your foot, what happens is, to be able to turn, when you turn, the trucks do this. So when the trucks do this, they would touch your boot. The only way to not touch your boot is to make them even wider. And then, because they are so wide, what's going to happen is that you're not pushing on the center of your body, you're pushing here. And that gives a very awkward feeling. But to be 200% honest, I haven't really tried it. So I don't know.
They name model Scorpion Multi-Terrain.
Yes, yes. I know those skates, and that's what I was saying. I know the Scorpion ones. Again, they are very, very wide. And that's the reason why I was saying that.
But they're like not
They have springs.
standard.
Yes, I know. They have springs instead of having the regular trucks. But I still stand to the same, which is, you're not pushing it. This is the foot. On a quad skate, you're pushing underneath your body. This is your boot. This is your foot. This is your plate, or where the wheels are. On a Scorpion skate, the plate will be like this, wider than your foot. So instead of pushing from here, you're pushing from here. When you push, it's too much on the inner edge. It's too far from the center of your foot. Again, I haven't tried it. This is just theory in my head. Most of the times, because of the experience, it works, but without testing. That could be a good skate. That would be one of those skates that I wouldn't sleep probably for a day or two.
Producers of this case should definitely send you a few pairs.
Yeah, I can buy them. This is something that a lot of times people don't understand. Yes. You know it, you make YouTube videos, you know that Google Ads, it's not something that gives you a lot of money. What I keep on doing, and a lot of people don't understand, is I keep on reinvesting that the whole time. If I make 20 euros, most of the times I spend 30 on gear or buying new skates or traveling. And this is something that it's been making my YouTube channel grow. It's the amount of investment that I do into it. Like, dude, a lot of times brands send me a skate for a review. I never ask for payment from that brand, but I might ask for like another pair of skates or to make another review later, because I try to reinvest the whole time. As an example, this year I made the live stream for Winter Clash. In donations, I
Thank you
made like...
for this stream, I guess.
Thank you. But I can tell you, I made like 500 euros with the stream. That's how much people donated. And people are like, yeah, that was good. 500, dude, 500 euros. It's not even one of the pieces of gear that you use. I spent probably like 1,000 euros or 1,200 to get all the gear. It's going to take me 2 years and then to pay that. But next year, you're going to want to put something else and you're going to put more money into it. So it's complicated, but it's something that I love to do. And in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, I'm going to love to sit in front of the couch and sit and watch stuff that I did 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
How many wheels you prefer?
At the moment, I'm more on 4 wheels, a lot. But I can tell you that if I'm going to be doing a marathon or if I'm going to be wanting to cruise fast, I would probably go for 3 125s. I love the feeling of 125s, and I still stand for one of the first sliding videos that I did, which is I said that if you're taller, if you have a supportive boot, when you slide, you're able to lean more without the boot touching. And I love that feeling, especially if you have some wheels that will slide good and give you a good speed. But I've been trying to do not like the fastest skating around the city. I've been trying to like trick a little bit and enjoying the city a little bit different. So going like 4 wheels, not too short, maybe like 90s. I've been skating a lot on 490s. I'm about to test a different frame, 2 different frames. One that it's from Micro, which is actually very long, and I can't talk about it yet. And there is another frame from another company from America that it's still being released, that it's like a 400s. That gives me a little bit of different possibilities. I can tell you that I haven't been skating 5 wheels a lot, but I love it. I love the feeling of the sliding on 5 wheels, because you can lean a lot without being scared of sliding out. So it's so hard. I've even been skating with 2 wheels a lot, anti-rockers or freestyle or whatever. This is the question that most of the people probably don't understand, but I can't say that this is better or this is worse. I will just say there's some things that are better for certain things than others. If I want to grind, just grind, 2 wheels are better, or anti-rocker setup. If I want to skate a bowl flat, or if I want to skate the city, like just tricking and stuff, I actually like the feeling of 4 wheels. If I want to cruise the city fast, or if I want to do some fitness skating when I want to exercise, I would probably go for 3 125 or a marathon. If I want to go downhill, 5 wheels. So all
Depends,
of them.
yeah. What about bearings? Do you feel difference?
No. 300% honest with you. Yes, I did work with Wicked Bearings, and which is a company from Powerslide. With Micro, we have some of the best bearings with Twin Cam, which Rollerblade also has, K2 also have, Seba also have. A lot of the brands work with Twin Cam. Bones also make the Swiss bearings. Now, speed-wise, I don't feel that much of a difference. Maybe if you would be talking about part swings, I'm sure it's going to feel a difference, you know. For me, I don't feel it that much. Now, I do feel a difference that some bearings will last a bit longer than others. And to be totally honest with you, something like the old ABAC ones, 608ZZ, that have like a metal shield on both sides with a super thick grease, they would last a lot longer than if I have a skate that it's no Z at all, like completely open.
Do you recommend cleaning your bearings?
Yes. If you spend money on a good set of bearings, some like a Twin Cam that allows you to open it and allows you to clean it and all that, yes.
Now, how often, and would you make a video about it?
I would love to make a video about it, but the reason why I never did like a proper video about it is because I don't have knowledge enough about it. Okay, it's to make something just to get views without knowing what I'm talking about. I never really wanted to do it.
What do you think about wide wheels, especially roller ball? I mean, wide frames.
It's very hard to skate. It's very hard to skate. I can tell you that wide wheels without the third wheel, I mean like two wheels only, it's a nightmare.
What about aggressive skates? Do they help you to develop skills for better free skate?
Yes and no. It depends on what you're going to do with aggressive skates. You get used to the wrong thing somehow. Imagine like you do a royale grind, which is like this, so you're going to expect to do a slide, a wheel slide the same way. It's completely different. It's about carving. It's not about jumping into a position. So it can be good, but it can also be bad if you take it the same way. Those are two completely different types of skating. Yes, they both use skates, but it's completely different to do like a wheel slide or a grind. So it's good for sure. It's good to have the body control and to have the skill to learn the skill, but then you need to take the time to adapt what you learn on one skate and use it on the other, and it would be the same both ways.
Do you scared to learn new tricks now? And how many tricks you've learned for last 5 years, maybe?
I don't know. No, I'm not scared to learn new tricks. Some tricks, obviously, if you're telling me about trying a double backflip, I wouldn't try it. It's just not in my things. I think I'm just. It's not about being scared or not. It's about being smarter. The way that I choose what I want to learn. I learn a new trick every single day because that's the way that I want to. That I like to skate. I like to challenge myself. I like to. It's probably like I'm going to give you an example. If I can do a backslide or a 1 foot slide on the free skates, I mean, dude, I can do that easy one way. So let me try to put something different into it. If you consider mixing two tricks as a new trick, well, then you can say that I learned something new. If it's just like a twist of what you already do, I don't know. I try to challenge myself every day, and I try to play with what I can do and learn new things. Or what I always use to learn my tricks is going to the closest tricks that I can already do. If I don't know if that makes sense to you, a good example would be I'm going to use a trick that you can do either on free skates or on aggressive skates, which is an acid slide. If you can do an acid grind or acid slide, it's very similar to a unity. All you need to know it's the back foot is different. So this is a good example of it's just if you master one, then you can do the other. It doesn't need to be if you do acid, you do unity. It can also be if you do unity, you do acid. So it's called progressions, and it's used on any sport. You use it in gymnastics. You go to the closest thing and you progress small steps, small steps, small steps until you get to where you want. If someone wants to do a triple backflip, you don't go straight for the triple backflip.
What are your best skaters, favorite skaters?
Favorite skaters. Downhill skater would be Andreas from Spain. It's not because he's the fastest. It's because Andreas, I don't remember, Gresses, because I just love the way he does it. He seems like he's always having fun. He's very, very skillful. He's one of the best in the world, probably not the fastest, but I love him as a skater. As a guy that does slides, I like Pablo Soler. As an aggressive skater, I like so many. Brian Chim has been my favorite, even if he's not skating for a while. He was still probably one of the most influential skaters for me. As a speed skater, Tony Muse was my favorite skater for a long time, and it's someone that I actually now see and talk and whatever. But like as a skater nowadays, the guy that I give the most props, there's two. One is Diogo Marreiros, he's Portuguese, and he was the first Portuguese to actually do something with speed skating. He's vice champion in the marathon, and the first one would be Felix. Felix is the world champion of the marathon. He's someone that I know for quite a bit of time, and both these guys are really hard work skaters. Then there's my favorite slalom skater is Lorenzo Guslandi by far from Italy. I just love what he does. I love his attitude towards skating. I love Leon Bassin. I love how he can do everything. I love Miguel Ramos, which is he can skate basically everything. I love Robert Guerrero for being such an influential and positive guy for me. I love a lot of people skating. I don't have a favorite skater. I have a lot of favorite skaters. The weirdest.
Weirdest and including actually skating on skateboards.
Yeah, that's probably the weirdest feeling. That was probably the weirdest feeling. If you wouldn't say that, Maybe no. There was a pair of skates that I tried that were a little bit weirder. There's a guy from Namibia. He skated off-road skates, and he made his own off-road skates. But he didn't have like a plastic boot or anything. He basically had a whole skeleton made of metal. If you go down through my Instagram, it's going to be like 3-4 years ago, but you'll find them. This guy made a pair of skates that you would need to skate them with a leather boot, because he only made the skeleton in metal, and then it only had 2 wheels, and the wheels were like 200 millimeters. But I didn't have the leather boots, so I tried them with the metal against my legs, and it was a very, very horrible feeling. But this guy used those pair of skates to have a TV show in Namibia where he visited different locations, and he was doing the whole thing on skates. He would interact with people, show the city on skates, and he could skate the desert with that, like not soft sand, but like the hard sand Namibian desert. He would skate like long distances on that. It's crazy. Bundu boots. That's the name of the guy. Bundu, Bundu boots.
What are the brightest moments from Winter Clash?
I really enjoyed watching Robert Guerrero being there. The moments of when they did the Jump Street podcast, I really loved it because the positivity in that room was amazing. I enjoyed watching so much people skating. It was cool to see Brian Arrogant skating again. I'm being 300% honest with you, and I was with him before. When I first saw him skating in real life, I really loved it. But then after watching so many sections, I somehow took it for granted, and I didn't enjoy it that much anymore. But watching him skate again, or at least on skates and being with everyone, was amazing. That was a very cool moment for me. The best about Winter Clash, it's the whole weekend. It's hard to choose one moment when the whole weekend is actually magical, like having everyone there for the same. Everyone is there for the same. It's everyone that is there believes in skating, so I love that.
What types of content would you like to produce more in future? What subscribers could expect from your channel?
I would love to experiment a lot more with skates and parts, but this is something like to actually build stuff, but that is something that takes time. And now is actually a good time because I tried to, let's be honest here, if you want to grow a YouTube channel, you need to learn how to read and to play with the algorithm. And there was a time that if you didn't post consistently, you wouldn't grow. So for me, there was a time that I was consistently trying to produce, and if you're producing like every day, it's hard to make stuff that take a lot of time. Now I'm at a moment, now it's different because of the whole virus thing. I'm at home and I try to produce more often, but in general, I try to make like a video or two per week, and that's a lot easier compared to what I did before, because there was a time that I was doing a video every day, and I have time for that. So I'm trying to make like my reviews make like look completely different. I'm trying to make my videos as unique as possible by having my own style already. Kind of like when I make a review, I try to go out, skate, make like a proper little video of it. I use it as an intro, get a couple of good shots from the product. So when I'm talking about it, basically I'm trying to take more time into whatever content I do. But I don't want to lose that thing that I've been having until now, which is if there's something skating on the skate industry, I still want to report it and I still want to help. Like the hurricane that happened in Tennessee, if I can do something, if I can get my community together to help that, this is also the reason why I do this YouTube thing. I want to have more people connected, and that is it. So I do whatever I can. I do spend probably the same amount or even more amount of time than I did before with it, but I just try to make a little bit higher quality.
What is your top 5 underrated videos that you highly recommend to watch?
On my channel, there is one video that I really loved it. It's one of my favorite ones, and it's mainly shot with a GoPro only. I was traveling to Holland. I had to leave South Africa because of visa problems. So I had to go just for a day. And on that travel to Holland, I stopped in Dubai for 6 hours. I came out of the plane and I tried to make a video out of it. And in the end, there was a conclusion. And my conclusion was just like, if you have a little bit of time, try to enjoy it. It can be related to a trip, but it can be related to everything. Sometimes you have an hour or two and you're like, I'm not going to do it. If you don't try, you never know. And this can apply to anything that you do in life. If you need to study for an exam, I just have 1 hour, I'm not going to do it. Well, it's better to do those 30 minutes than not do anything. And it's the same with me. I went out for the little skating session and I ended up meeting someone that every time that I go that way, somehow is there for me and shows me the place. And this is real life, and I would say that's one of my favorite ones. Then there's other ones. I really enjoyed one that I've done when my daughter was born, that I was just playing around with the baby cart. Just like I had like a fake baby inside and I was just jumping in the ramps and stuff. I tried to do that type of stuff. And there was a video that I did way before that. I already re-uploaded it on my YouTube channel. I went out, I bought a pair of skates for €2 and I made a video of how you can skate them. And then in the end, they ended up breaking, but there was a conclusion for it too, which was just, it doesn't really matter the skates you have. Yes, they can break or not, but more important than anything else, it's just to do it. It doesn't matter the gear that you have, you'll find ways to do it. So I think something that has this type of
story, maybe.
story makes it more important for me.
Special Blitz survey from Alexei Martinuk. For your opinion, what is top 5 slalom skates?
Top 5 slalom skates. I don't do slalom, so for me, it's going to be very hard to judge that. At the moment, I'm skating a skate very often that it's considered a slalom skate, and there is the micro delta F. Previously to that, the other slalom skates that I skated were the Hardcore Evo, the Trinity ones, and the non-Trinity ones. I said before that the Trinity ones was one of my favorite skates. Back then, it was my favorite skate by far. And it's still one of my favorite skates. But having a Trinity skate somehow makes the offer not be the same. You're limited to one brand of frames. So the previous version on that was a little bit more open if you wanted to try different frames from different brands. So it's also very hard to say this is better or this is not better. Something that I love about the Micro Delta Fs, and I know that the Igors are very similar because they're made in, the previous Igors were made in the same factory, and it's the carbon cuff. The carbon cuff makes the skate extra stiff. So these three, I would say they're the top three skates. I would say top four because there's a Igor from FR. Would be the non-Trinity Hardcore Evo, the Trinity Hardcore Evo, even if the non-Trinity is not available anymore, and then the FR Igor and the Delta, the Micro Delta F. But these were the ones that I tested their high performance. So I can't really say more about other skates. I wouldn't say that a plastic hard boot would be as good because yes, if you have the right line and if you tie them really good, can be a good skate for it. But it's not the same as a carbon skate for slalom for sure.
Best aggressive skates, top 5 again.
I would have two on number 1, which is the Razor Sculpt and the USD Shadow. Those were the last two that I skated that I really, really enjoyed. But there's another skate that I would actually even put on top of number 1, if that even makes sense, because I think it's a skate that from beginners to pro, it works. And it's the USDAN. The USDAN, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner, you buy a skate for less than 200 euros. And the skate that you buy is like amazing wheels. It rolls really good because it's flat. It's very easy to do all types of tricks. You're riding flat like if you're an anti-rocker. It has some pros and cons. For me, it slides a little bit too slow on soul tricks. And I like other stuff from other skates more than that. But as an all-around skate, if I need to tell someone, if someone is looking for a skate and they don't know if it's their first skate, I would say probably that's an amazing one. But for me, for my type of skating, at the moment, I like those two that are completely different. The Razor Sculpt and the USD Shadow. And I can skate them both stock and they feel good.
Free skates.
I would use the same as slalom skates, because for me, that's the type of skating that I do. I do a couple of slides without doing really slalom tricks, but I would add maybe a art boot skate that I've been using, that micro MT. But again, this is me. I work for a company which is micro. This is the skates that I have access and I skate more often. So it doesn't mean that those are the only skates. As an example, the Power Slide Imperial was an amazing skate that I really enjoyed as a free skate. I know that for people with wide foot, it wasn't the most comfortable one, but it depends. It depends on the person, and that's why I'm saying that the micro MT Plus, they are very affordable and they work for me. So if you're looking for a beginner skate, I would say that 130 euros.
I didn't heard about your foot type, like wide, narrow, high.
I have a mid foot. Basically, I have like a good arc. I don't have a flat foot. I have kind of like a pronounced, not a pronounced, like a mid. I have like I would say a regular foot on the sole, on the width, and on the length. My foot is a 40, almost 43, close to 43, in between 42 and a half and 43. Most of the skates I use 43, but on micro, on all the micro skates, on the Rossi's Fifth Element, and on some Saber skates, I use 42. Everything else, I use 43. Salomon, I used 42 and a half. But my size is in between 42 and a half and 43, usually. But my foot is a little bit different on the ankle, on the top of the ankle, especially on the right foot. A couple of years ago, I broke my left foot. And when I broke my left foot, they put a plate on it. A few years later, I broke my right one. But when I broke my right one, I didn't even know that it was broken. And all I did was resting. And I stayed at home basically for 3 months without doing anything. Still trying. When I started skating, it was still hurting. So I would use the other foot more often. And in the end, I ended up messing my foot really bad. So nowadays I have a huge lump, a very hard lump on that foot, and not every skate fits me. So I did got a pair of Power Slide towels. And I made a video that I said, hey, I just got these skates. And a lot of people asked me, why didn't you skate them? I didn't skate them because that skate wasn't compatible with my foot. And I know a lot of people love them, but because of the place where the buckle was, the cuff was, it was right in the middle of it was the carbon, that it's not moldable on that skate, because it's kind of like the technology used is just like a compressed carbon, just like they build bicycles. So it's not moldable. So it was the carbon and the cuff right in my big lump, and it was hurting me a lot. So I couldn't skate that skate. But a lot of people have a lot of good stuff to say about that. So when I look at the skate, it's one of the first things that I do. It's to put those skates and to see how they feel. As an example, with the Delta Fs, the cut there is on the carbon cuff goes right next to it, but it doesn't pressure it. So it goes right around my lump. If you have the possibility to go to a skate shop and try the skates, it's always the best.
Top 5 wheels.
Number 1, undercover. And everything that comes from undercover, either Matter, some of the rollerblade wheels. When I mean undercover, it's something that comes from that factory. It's called A-End, but it's undercover, Matter, Conjure, Sick Urethane, some of the rollerblade hydrogen wheels. All the wheels that come from that place, amazing. Then there's now some wheels with aluminum cores that are amazing. The famous wheels are very, very good. I haven't tried them in big wheels. I only tried them in small wheels. But the wheels that I used in the Berlin Marathon, they are amazing. Let me get them. Give me a second. These are 125s, and these are aluminum cores. The story behind this wheel was supposed to be a scooter wheel, but the production company completely messed it up. So the cores became too slim, and they're so slim that they can't handle to be on 2 wheels only. Let's not forget that they jump 20 stairs and land on 2 wheels. So it was not strong enough. But for inline skating, we use 6 wheels when it comes to 125. So it's 6 points absorbing the shock. and it's more than enough. And the wheels are perfect. They last a long time. They're very, very fast, and they slide perfect. So for 125s, it's one of my favorite wheels, not for marathons, especially if it rains. And that is it. I would say, and then I know that a lot of people love the MPC wheels. I never, ever had the possibility to try them yet. So I know they're very good. I never tried them. But I would say these are top wheels. Not top 5, but top wheels.
That's it for today, I think. Thank you for being a good, just good
guest.
Yeah, good guest.
Good guest. It's all good, man. Thank you for doing this.